Welcome to this lesson on vowels and consonants. There is often quite a lot of confusion around vowels and consonants in the teaching of phonics for students because we tend to think of the vowels as being A, E, I, O, U and the consonants being the other letters. This is absolutely true, they are, but those are the letters which are vowels and the letters which are consonants. In phonics we are talking about sound principally. So here are the letters that are vowels, A, E, I, O, U, and the others which are all consonants, except for Y, which can serve both as a vowel and as a consonant. Here's a really useful definition from Barber. In all vowels, the mouth passage is unobstructed. If it is obstructed at any time during the production of a speech sound, the resulting sound will be a consonant. And we can demonstrate this easily. We'll go on a bit later to explore this idea, but just to start with, if we make the sound ah, if you make that sound ah, you will feel your mouth is open and the air flow is unobstructed. But if you make the sound b, b, your lips come together and they block the airflow. So that's a consonant. This all gets quite complicated because in written English, as David Crystal says here, we have 26 letters of the alphabet, which we have 5 vowels, letters, and 21 consonants, that is to say letters. But in spoken English, there are 20 vowels and 24 consonants. The sounds that are unobstructed, the vowel sounds, we have 20 of those. We also have 24 consonant sounds. So that is 44 phonemes, 44 sounds in English, but only 26 letters in which we can use to represent them. And he goes on to say, it is this discrepancy, of course, which underlies the complexity of English spelling. Let's have a try at those vowels and consonants. So here is the set of vowel phonemes with sample words to give you an indication of the pronunciation. And we are going to say these. So I will say them, and then I'm inviting you to say them before we move on. So you can feel what your mouth is doing, what your lips, your tongue are doing as you make the sounds. Before we start, we're going to look at these 10 and 11. Where you have double O emboldened like that, then that means the sound oo, as in boot, oo. If it's not in bold, then that means the sound as in look. So you just need to bear in mind that difference. We're going to start with the short vowels. So I'm going to say the short vowels, and then I invite you to say them after me. But I'm going to do them running them one into the other. So it goes a, e, ah, ah. Just try doing that. I'm going to do it again for you. A, e, ah, ah. Hopefully you have done that and you have felt that your mouth hardly moves. Your tongue flexes very slightly to change the shape, but it's very slight. The air is free to flow. Let's try the long vowel sounds. Again, just going to run them into another. I'm going to do it first. A, E, I, O, U, ow, oi. I'll do it once more. A, E, I, O, U, ow, oi. You have a go. Again, you should feel that your mouth is moving very slightly. Your tongue and your lips are moving, but the air is free to flow out. Here's the last set. Now, I have used a title here which is something the Americans use, a term the Americans use, for those vowels which are formed using an R. I like using it. I think it just says exactly what those vowel sounds are. They're controlled by R's. I think it's a really useful term. So I will say them again, and then you say. A, O, U, E, U. Do it again. A, O, U, E, U. Your turn. As you went from ear to as in dear to sure, ear, you will have felt your lips coming closer together and there's like tension in the lips. But again, the air is still free to flow. One last vowel sound is the schwa. And the schwa is the most common vowel sound in English. And it's the sound, as in corner, and the. And it's written using an upside down E, which is from the phonetic alphabet. So now let's look at the consonants. And here we have the consonant phonemes with sample words. Again, we have got a difference between TH in normal type and then TH emboldened. So if you say thin, thin, then you are saying the th sound just by allowing air to escape. But if we look at the emboldened version and say then, the sound you are making, you have got the air, but you are also using your vocal cords. So the difference between th and v is that you are using your voice as well as the air escaping. It's the same as the difference between s and z and p and b. So let's look at the first 6, and I will say them first. B, k, d, f, g, h. Your turn. As you said b, your lips will have come together. K, your tongue will have gone to the top of your mouth. D, your tongue will have gone behind your teeth. F, your top teeth will press against your bottom lip. G, your tongue will curve up at the back of your mouth, and there, your tongue is right at the back, making that sound there. The next set. J, L, M, N, P, R. Your turn. Each of those sounds involves your mouth making a different shape to block the air. It may be your lips, it may be your tongue and teeth, lips and teeth. Have a go at the next set. S, T, V, W, Y, Z. And here we have the set. Sh, ch, th, th, n, j. Quite often in phonics teaching we talk about CVC words, CCVC words, CVCC words. C is consonant, V is vowel. So here we have tin, t, I, n. Consonant, vowel, consonant. Sin, s, I, n. Consonant, vowel, consonant. Sip, s, I, p. Ship, you sound it out now. Sh, I, p. Shin, you sound it out. Thin, you sound it out. But we can get more complex. So to move beyond CVC and to introduce extra consonants, then we need to be looking at the difference between consonant digraphs and adjacent consonants. For example, in the word thin, if we segment that word orally, th, I, n, you have 3 phonemes. Th, I, n. The first phoneme, th, is made by those 2 letters together. Those 2 letters make that one sound, that one consonant sound of th. So we have consonant, vowel, consonant. In this case, the TH together making the sound th is a consonant digraph, which you should remember from the lesson on the 4 principles of phonics. By contrast, if we look at stop and we sound it out, we orally segment it, stop becomes st, op, st, op. 4 phonemes. Each letter in the word stop makes a sound. So we can hear the s and the t as separate sounds. So stop has got consonant, the s, the s, consonant, t, vowel, o, consonant, p. So it's a CCVC word. And the s and t are adjacent consonants. Here's another example. Chip. Orally segmented. Ch, I, p. 3 phonemes. The first phoneme, ch, is a consonant. So chip is a CVC word. And ch is a consonant digraph. Clip, on the other hand, if we sound it out, k, l, I, p, has 4 phonemes. K, l, I, p. And the first 2 are both consonants. K, l. We can hear them as distinct sounds. So clip is a CCVC word. And k, l are adjacent consonants. So read these words and identify whether they contain adjacent consonants or if there is a consonant digraph in the word. When you think you have your answers, go on to the next slide. So let's start with the word shop, and we orally segment it. Sh, o, p. We have 3 phonemes. The first one is the consonant sh, then the vowel o, and then the final consonant p, which means this is a CVC word. The S and the H together make a consonant digraph, which makes the sound sh. Next example, step. Orally segment it. St, e, p. We can hear each sound. We can hear the s, the t, the e, and the p, which means we have adjacent consonants. It's a CCVC word. What about milk? M, I, l, k. M, I, l, k. Here we have a consonant, then we have the vowel I, and then we have 2 consonants together, l, k. But we are making those 2 sounds, milk. And if you're struggling to hear it, say the word and think about what your tongue is doing at the very end of the word. M, I, l, k. Milk. Milk. It happens very quickly, but your tongue is going in 2 different places to do the sound l and the sound k. So this is a CVCC word. What about the next one? Mash. M, a, sh. We've got consonant m, vowel a, and then sh. And sh is a consonant, and it's a consonant digraph. We have the S and the H making 1 sound, so it is a CVC word. Lastly, this. This. And we have th, I, s. So we have that vocalized TH, the vocalized th there, which is why it's in bold, and then I, s. So again, it is a CVC word. So now we're just going to look at some CCVC words. Hopefully you've got the idea now. So here is the first one. Stop, stop, stop. Spin, sp, in. Now look here, we have f, l, a, sh. 4 phonemes. The last phoneme is sh, which is made by those 2 consonant letters together there as a consonant digraph. What about drain? Drain. We have d, r, A, N. Now the A is made by a vowel digraph, but the consonants here, D, R, are next to each other. We can hear them, and if you can't hear them, just feel what your tongue is doing as you say the word. So you have adjacent consonants there. And shrine, shrine, sh, r, two adjacent consonants there. You can hear each one, I, n. And because this is a split vowel digraph, I have that little curve there to show that the E is making the letter I sound as I, not I. If the E wasn't there, it would be shrin. And thrush. Now here we have got th, r, a, sh. So we've got the first consonant digraph to make a consonant sound th, followed by which is a consonant, then vowel, and then sh, which is a consonant at the end, again a consonant digraph. Now we flip, and we have vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant. So sift, limp, went, cult, shouts, whisk. If you can't hear that you have a consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant word in any of those, practice saying them and feel what your tongue and your lips are doing so that you can feel the change as each sound is made. When you've done that, move on to the next slide. Now that you've done this lesson, you should go on to the online quiz or audit. If there's anything you don't understand, you can go back and revisit the lesson, or if there are any aspects of this lesson that were unclear, such as vocabulary, you can always go back to the 4 Principles of Phonics lesson.